All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are tuning in from today. No Zinc with us today, but we've got Joey with us today. How you doing, Joey?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, all right, mate. All right. How you feeling about America going out of the World Cup in the well, for me it was the early hours this morning, but probably last night for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I haven't watched really any of the World Cup, to be honest with you.
You haven't watched any of it.
I'm not too into that. So, but I
Ah,
I did see they lost, so that is kind of a bummer. So
yeah. No, I was up for the England game because the World Cup matches here are like they're so like late
yeah,
for me, like they're like either like 11 p.m. or 1 a.m. or something like that. So I have to like stay up at stupid hours in the morning to kind of watch more. But watching that England versus Mexico game, like that was
yeah,
a absolute emotional roller coaster. I think my wife just saw me just burst, blurting out so all sorts of swear words, all sorts of angriness. Like I'm usually very calm. I'm a very calm guy, but put me in front of a football match watching that, and I just become a completely different person.
yeah. So you're pretty into that then? Pretty into soccer,
Yeah.
football, whatever you guys call it. People who are
Oh,
real into that, you know.
don't calling it soccer.
I know I can't,
Don't you dare on
because
stream
like the
today
whole
go
world
calling it
calls
soccer.
it football, you know.
Good morning, guys. Welcome in the chat there. Okay. So, first of all, where is everybody? If you just come into the chat now, because I said good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Where's everybody actually tuning in from? Because I'm not usually on the stream to begin with. Zinc usually starts the stream and I jump in at 10 a.m. But just wondering where everyone's tuning in from this morning. I mean, I'm Abu Dhabi based. Where were you exactly based, Joey?
I'm in Michigan.
Michigan. Oh, nice.
Yes.
Be interesting to see where everybody's from, whether it's the States, Dad. Ooh,
Australia, Spain.
Spain. This is what I mean. I think in my head, I always think, oh, it's just guys from the States tuning in my head all the time. Well, actually,
Yeah,
it's probably not, is it? I mean,
all over.
yeah, look at this. Look at this. Bangkok, Zurich, South Africa, Virginia. Wow. Okay. Oh, so many. I'm just thinking here. The guy from Spain. You must be proper happy with the World Cup match from yesterday. I watched the full match of it. I tried staying up at 11 p.m. last night for me to watch the Spain versus Portugal match, but I'm such an old man these days. I cannot stay up past like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. I'm like
Yeah.
done for the day. It's like it's pretty I don't know. It's I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing, but basically I watched the full match this morning. I made sure I stayed off the internet this morning to watch Ronaldo. I wanted to watch it because of Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, is it going to be his last dance? Is it not going to be his last dance in the World Cup? But I'm sorry to the Spanish guy in the chat right now, but that game was boring. That was so boring this morning, that game. I'm so sorry. Like the England-Mexico game, that had everything. But Spain-Portugal, I love the tiki-taka passing, but I don't know. It was pretty boring until that goal went in the last minute.
I have such a hard time not watching stuff live. Like, I don't think I could rewatch something in the morning and not check. Because if you open Twitter or you open something, it's right there, front page every time. I would get spoiled if I don't watch it live.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where I've got into the habit. And for anyone in the chat, this is a very good habit. Where on my iPhone, I actually have set a setting on my phone now where I don't get any notifications in the mornings because I went through a bad phase of like going on social media, checking X. Like I think I was addicted to X at one point. Like I would wake up in the morning and the first thing I would do is check my phone. Like I even remember waking up at like 3 a.m. 4 a.m. And I'm sure you can relate. I'm sure people in the guys in the chat can relate. But it was just an addiction for me. So what I do now is I just have a setting where I don't get any notifications in the morning. It's all hidden away, and I just try and stay away from my phone. So that sort of helped me a little bit. I prefer to watch it live. Like, I know England are playing Norway. I think it's 11 p.m. this weekend. So for me, that's one I cannot not watch live. I'm going to watch that live. I'm going to have to man up a little bit and stay up at 11 p.m. and watch that one. But yeah. Are you into any sports, Joey?
I watch Formula One. I watch football, like American football. That's really about it, to be honest with you.
Fair enough. And you know what? I just realized as well, Joe, we've never actually talked.
I know. I was realizing that too yesterday when you reached out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those. I was just thinking just now, it's like, oh my God, like, because I feel like we talked before next, haven't we? We've had plenty of interactions there before, but actually speaking face to, over video, but in person, that we've never done it before. So yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? It's so cool though, isn't it? The social media space, how it just brings traders together and stuff. I love it. Absolutely.
I agree.
Love it. Right, so good morning to everyone else in the chat for joining. If any of you is wondering where Zinc is, he's not joining us today. You've got the pleasure of me and Joey on stream today, and hopefully we're going to be able to capture some trades. Let me just go over very quickly yesterday's trading, because yesterday's trading, right, I did not take a trade, but it shows on my trade zealot as green. So I have the most weirdest situation to show you guys, okay? Let me just show you, first of all, how I kind of saw it yesterday when I was looking at the chart. So basically, if we look here, this was how it set up to begin with. And I was loving this. Like, for me, it was longs or nothing for here, because we've had no closures below the VWAP whatsoever. The VWAP is sloping higher. I'm liking longs here. All I'm relying on is some sort of pullback to some sort of level inside the IB, but it just didn't give it to me yesterday. This candle just here, we broke the IB high, so I kind of had to just suck it up and sort of stick to my rules and be disciplined and just walk away flat for the day, which I was happy to do, to be fair, because if we look at my month so far, I didn't trade Friday because it's bank holiday, but overall, it's been a pretty good start to the month. June was a little bit, I had to sort of get through June in one piece. Financially, yes, but more mentally, more than anything. But that was frustrating. But now, let me explain this, right? Because this looks like a beautiful trade. It looks like a trade. Dan's caught a nice trade after the IB is set. It's pulled back to VWAP and he's caught it high. I would love to say that's what happened and I caught that. I did not at all. Like, this was a freak situation, and it's completely my fault, to be fair, with my trade copier, because I'm trade copying 27 accounts now. So it's quite a few accounts. And yesterday I turned off because I wanted to try it without what's called a market execution mode on my trade copier, where basically every single account went through as a limit order. But when you turn on the market execution mode on my trade copier, the lead account is the limit order. And then the rest of the follower accounts are market executions. They're not limit orders. But yesterday I turned off that market execution mode, closed my limit order when it didn't retrace, and I walked away from the desk for about half an hour, 45 minutes. And then I went back onto my trade copier and I realized, whoa, one of my Lucid accounts was up $400. And I'm like, oh my God. First thing I thought was someone has hacked into my Lucid account. That was my first thought. It's like someone has hacked into my Lucid account and is taking trades for me. And they're winning for me. They obviously looked at my June trading and thought, he needs a hand here. And I'm going to take a trade for him. But what happened was that limit order on that one account had not canceled. It just stayed. So I was going to enter here, around about here, maybe just below the IB25. It didn't, but because I left the limit order on, it then came to that level. It got me in here at 955. And then this was where I realized that it was, I shouldn't be in this trade. I closed it immediately. And did you see the markets afterwards? If I go back to the trading, look what happened here after. So I closed it here. The market dumped for the rest of the session going into today. So if I didn't realize that, that account would probably be gone by now. All on me. All on me. It's just one of those. People asking the trade copy I use. It's TradeSyncer. It's the trade copy I use. But in fairness, it wasn't their fault. It was completely my fault there with that. But yeah. How was your trading yesterday, Joey?
My trading yesterday, I just got a winning day on 2 of my top step accounts, and that was pretty much it. I just made $150 on a little scalp with 3 micros yesterday, and that was it for my day. So,
nice. You've had a proper solid day then.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Yeah, good. Well, looking at the markets at the moment, we're just looking at the Mag 7. It's pretty mixed at the moment. NVIDIA's down 1.5%. Meta's up a couple of percent. Tesla's down 1%. All the others are sort of break even or so. So pretty mixed at the moment. I mean, how are you seeing the market at the moment, Joe? Do you want to share your screen maybe?
I can share my screen. Give me a second here. One sec.
While you're doing that, let me have a look at people in the chat. Norway, one guy's from Sweden, one guy's from Greece.
All over.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I think that completely blows my mind as to how Ireland, Tel Aviv, London, South Africa. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy how many different countries people are on stream today. That's awesome. Anyway, let me just get you. Someone's from Ukraine. Okay. There you go, mate. You're up.
All right. Yeah, so all I'm looking at right now today, well, there's nothing really right now that interests me, but I like looking at session highs and lows, and fair value gaps and inverse fair value gaps. So we've already swept the overnight lows from London session, Asia session. Right now, we're kind of in this 15-minute gap, this little gray box on my chart. So if we're holding this, I want to see longs pretty much. If we get below this gap, I think we will probably end up going down towards yesterday's lows. Or this isn't even yesterday's lows. This is Thursday, July 2nd. So these lows down here, if we get below that 15-minute gap on my chart. You know what you ever use for value gaps, Dan? You know what those are?
I have an ICT background, just because I learned ICT at one point, so I'm aware of fair value gaps. And you know what? Whether it's consciously or subconsciously, I keep an eye on them. So if I see a huge fair value gap inside the IB, I will be thinking to myself, "There's a good chance we could be coming into that." I wouldn't say it's part of my rules, but I keep an eye on them.
A little extra boost in confidence or something in a trade sometimes, but that's just kind of my middle marker. If we hold it, I think longs look pretty good. And we still have London high above us, London session high. So I do like that for targets. So if we do start to trend up, or maybe the IB starts pushing up and there's a good long setup, then I would feel extra good, especially if we have London high up here as, another long target. So,
okay, so your approach is looking at time-based liquidity, basically, and sort of aiming for those sort of levels.
Yes.
Will you hold a trade to the full target, or using it more as like a pull on liquidity, basically?
I will hold a trade. Like if we got a good IB setup today, I would definitely be open to holding a trade to this London high or something. Really just depends how the market looks, though. But I mean, we all know when we sweep the IB high or IB low, a lot of times we do just reverse right away. So Yeah, just depends
Okay.
on the conditions of the day. But
And when you're looking for entries, are you trading more the IB? Because I know you played around with the IB 25 for a little bit, didn't you?
I have
are you still
lot of
trading
data.
that? Are you okay? Okay.
I
Yeah,
have
I
a
mean,
lot of
yeah,
data on IB, and I'd be curious on how, like, if you have a lot of long-term data on it, and just compare some stats, honestly. But
yeah, I mean, you are Mr. Data. If you go on Joey's X page, you will just see constant. It's a FX replay, isn't it?
yeah,
What you're using for back testing. Yeah, you love a good FX replay back testing session. You must spend ages back testing, right?
it's honestly not good. It's not a good thing. But yeah, I have a ton of data on IB25. I could even pull some of it up. Obviously, we're going to take slightly different setups sometimes, so it's not like, you know, what I would do is going to be the same as what you would do. But I did try and incorporate VWAP, anchored VWAP from the 930 candle, and sloping, make sure it's with the trend that I want, make sure it's not chopping around, things like that. Let me pull stuff up. It's very good. It's very easy. It's very mechanical.
Yeah.
Here's actually all of my I have a lot of FX replay stuff here. You can see my time invested right here.
I was going to say that's why I was interested
in
to
hours
look at,
right here. April 60 hours. This month only 5 hours so far.
Hours.
I have my it's called the cooking.
What's that?
So Dan Cook.
Oh, it's
the cooking model. So
okay.
Yeah, these are my stats for this year. I tested January through May. Like a 76% win rate, 1-to-1 R. I was doing entry at 25, stop at the midpoint 50.
Okay.
So you probably have a slightly higher win rate because a little bit negative, but I like negative RR too. But that, I mean, it's good. And then I also tested like all of 2025, pretty much 80% win rate all the way up from January to like September. And then it was kind of flat when in those latter months because it was a little choppy, but it's a very easy strategy if you guys are looking for a strategy. What Dan does with the VWAP and IB, it's easy. You're probably on average, I was getting like a 5R each month profit on average. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, the IB25 is the strategy that I've been using for a lot of 2026 is very newbie trader friendly, isn't it? Because it's very mechanical, it's very repeatable. It does have its disadvantages as well, especially if it's like stop loss at IB 50 at the midpoint. You probably found in your back testing, you can often get wicked a little bit there because, Zinc is actually trading most of his entries at that IB 50 where the stop loss would be. Because it does often come to the midpoint as well. Me and Zinc are actually looking at some data after our streaming session last week, and it was for, from the edgeful API, and it showed that most of the most common entry level for the IB is around about IB 30, IB 35, IB 40, that sort of range, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, I have a whole algo. My whole Discord community is based on automated trading, so I have an algo that does initial balance stuff, and I use the 35 and 65 levels a lot with that. So that would line up with what you and Zinc are saying with that kind of 35% area.
Yeah. It's very interesting, and I've been spending a lot of time in the past sort of month or so looking at my trade markups on TradeZella because I screenshot all my trades that I've taken and looking at all, wins aren't the losses, yes, because the losses lose, right? But the winners, I've been looking at, well, how much do they go and draw down before they then start going to profit? And it's quite interesting where a lot of the IB25 wins, there's very, very few that wick the IB25 and then go straight to the IB high or the IB low, whichever direction you're trading. Often, I sit in a bit of drawdown once the IB25 limit order is hits around about IB35, something like that, which interestingly is where the VWAP sort of is as well. You know, it can't be a coincidence that, which is quite interesting. So I think I posted about this on my social media recently, where I think with any strategy, you always want to look at evolving what you're doing. You know, that doesn't mean strategy hopping. It doesn't mean changing from, ICT to VWAP. Don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with strategy hopping if you feel it's the right thing to do. You know, I'm sure all of us who are profitable traders, the first strategy we ever traded probably isn't the strategy you're trading now. Do you know what I mean? Like, you probably had strategy hopped at some point along your journey to get to the one that you are on. But once you got up here profitability and you've taken, consistent payouts from that, you don't want to be changing it, changing the strategy completely, but you want to be evolving it. You want to be adapt, because you're going to evolve as a trader, aren't you, as well? You want to be able to evolve and adapt it, and sort of change it as we go along.
Yeah, for sure. That's something with, like, I back tested the IB25 and the results were good, but you can't look at edgeful when you're back testing. Like, you can't really look at like the what's in play and all these features when you're back testing. So the results should really only be better if you're doing it live, because you can see more data and all these things.
Yeah.
So
how far then do you, because this is it's actually really good you're on stream today, because we can really dive into the back testing a little bit, because I'm sure people on stream probably quite interested in how we all do back testing. How far back do you, because I don't think there's any, there's the standard rule, isn't there, 100 trades. Make sure you got 100 trades or something like that, minimum, but how far, in your opinion, do you need to back test for you to have confidence in your edge and confidence in your executions each day? What's your, is it a certain amount of trades or a certain time scale you back test?
It's a little bit of both. But for me, I like to have multiple years of data tested. So just because, like, you're going to have different conditions every year, obviously. So I like to have at least like 3 years of data. So maybe 2025, 24, 23. And a lot of people say 100 trades, and I would agree. If you have a strategy that's like looks pretty good after 100 trades, I would say you need to keep testing that, because it might be perfect. Like, it might be good for you, might be a good fit strategy. But 100 trades is not enough to be like, I can go run this live right now. I got it. It works great. In my opinion, I think you need probably more like 300-400 at least.
Yeah. Okay.
But a lot of people have different ways of looking at it. But that's just whatever you feel comfortable with. You may test a year, be like, this is great, I'm just going to go run it live.
Yeah.
And there's a fine line, because also you don't want to overthink it either. If you back test too much and then you're like, oh, well, this year wasn't good, but these 2 years were good, and you want something that's perfect every year, it's like, that's not really a thing. So it's a fine
agreed. Because I think sometimes you can go down the back testing rabbit hole where you back test so much you're trying to find certainties where there literally isn't any. There are no certainties. No matter how much you back test, you don't know what Q3 in 2026 is going to bring up. You just don't. You're playing off probabilities, aren't you? Let me just pull back my screen for a second here. Okay, so as the way I'm looking at it at the moment here is basically the IB highs form first, the IB lows form second. So basically, I'm looking for shorts here at the moment, but there are a few things that I'm very, very cautious of at the moment. For example, we got the previous session low above us. So we've got an outside day at the moment. And if we go on to edgeful here and we look at the data for outside days, you can see here on the what's in play on edgeful, outside days by size, if we just I've always got to look at the amount here. You got to be careful, guys, when you're looking at the what's in play, because you want to look at how much data there is for that. You can see here 2 data sets for the outside days by size. Although 100% looks great, it's only 2 data points in the past 6 months. So I don't really pay, massive emphasis on that sort of data. However, the outside day stat in general over the past 6 months, 69% chance that we are going to retrace to the previous session low at some point today. So, the data here is fairly strong here, where we are going to go to the previous session low, which is above us. But whether we actually go there or not is another thing. If we look here by weekdays, got a little bit more data here on Tuesdays for the outside day. But it's something I'm very much keeping an eye on here at the moment with that. But at the moment as well, you got to look at the Mag 7 stocks as well. I think you've always got to look at what you're trading. I mean, I'm trading MNQ. Well, what do you trade, Joey?
I trade NQ mainly.
Okay, NQ, so NQ. So whether you're, okay. So if you're trading NQ, you've got to be looking at the Mag 7, in my opinion. You've got to be looking at the individual stocks and just see how they're generally performing. I don't have a specific sort of rule for, do I need 3 stocks to be green or 4 stocks to be green? But it's one of those where if I just show, let me go to which trade was it? It was, I avoided a loss doing just this on, I think it was Monday the 29th. So if I go on to here, was it this one? Let me just pull it up here. Yeah, it was this one here. So this here, for this trade last Monday, I was looking for potential shorts here. The IB highs form first, IB lows form second, and potentially could have been taking an IB 25 trade here. But the thing is that with this, I was looking at the Mag 7 stocks, and you can see Amazon's up 5%, Google's up 3%, Meta's up 3%, Tesla's up 3%. Many of the Mag 7 are really, really bullish at this point. And also as well, the yellow box there is the edgeful indicator for the gap fill. So the gap was just filled as well before that retracement. That's where I was looking at that thinking, I'm not loving the shorts here. Because I think with any trade I take, I want to say to myself, yep, I would take that trade again and again and again and again. And that's where my discretion just sort of came in here a little bit. And I think, especially if you're starting out as a newbie trader, trading mechanically, I think is a good way to go. But I think as you earn your stripes and you get skin in the game and you get more experience in the markets and you're seeing the markets move day after day, you earn your right to have that level of discretion. And that's where here I just used my discretion and stayed out of what would have been a very disappointing loss if I took that one. So that's what I'm kind of aware of here at the moment. We'll see if we keep moving lower here. But you just have to look at pre-market. We have been moving lower throughout the whole time. If you want to pull up your screen, have you got any time-based liquidity for today that you're looking at?
The only things I'm looking at, let me delete this. Really, there's not much. Again, a couple swing lows down here from early this month, last week. Right now, we're kind of, there's not really a good level right here. Like, we just have a couple gaps. It's not much. If we do close, actually, this 15-minute candle is going to close in 10 seconds. If we close below this gap, let's see. Yeah, so we did just close below this 15-minute gap, which doesn't mean we won't go back up, but it's another indicator of bearishness. So I would be looking for probably 29,350, maybe 29,400 first, but again, okay. I'm just waiting for the IB at this point.
Yeah.
But all the big stocks are down today, so they're down pretty heavy, most of them.
Yeah.
VWAP well, down.
Yeah. It's It's gonna be. Oh, go on.
I was just gonna say, if you move down too much, too early, I don't love it. It is looking pretty good. It's kind of like stair stepping down right now, which is good. When I noticed when I back tested the IB, if we kind of like the first 30 minutes, if we just dump 200 points and then we kind of hesitate and the VWAP still sloping down, a lot of times those get completely wrecked. Like, because you got the move too early. It happened 30 minutes in. So right now it's not looking too bad. It's still pretty big range today, though. I mean, we're looking at almost 300 points. So
yeah.
I
mean, if I just pull up my screen again here, I'm just as well looking at the gap as well, because if we just go onto my chart here, as well as the outside day, which we do have above us here with this previous session low, we do have the gap fill as well above us, which is 0.9% size, according to edgeful at the moment. The Watson play there saying 54% chance at the moment to go to that level there. So 69% going to previous session low, 54% gap fill. I mean, 54%, I don't know about you, I'm not really paying too much attention to that. So I'm actually going to turn that off there. I would say as well, you can see me as well, guys, using the indicators. If you've got an edgeful subscription, please use these indicators. Yeah, they come with all the reports, and they're a great way for you to just be able to see very, very quickly, is there an outside day? Is there an inside day? Where's the gap fill and all that? And anything that you're trading, guys, use the indicators because they do help a lot. I mean, my go-to is the initial balance breakout, previous days range by session. Those are my two. And I should give a shout out to VWAP as well. Should give a shout out there as well. Obviously using VWAP as well.
You do use that the most, probably, don't you?
I do. For me, it's just with VWAP, I just see price react to it too much to ignore.
No.
And when you look and when you dig into it and you see, the bigger institutions using VWAP, buying at VWAP, selling at VWAP, it just makes perfect sense why you would use it, but it's not for everybody though. It's not for everybody. But for me, it just gives me, as well as the structure of the IB, it just gives me some extra information as to what kind of direction I want to be pointing myself in. Because for me, it's like the IB, just looking at the IB structure, I want a bit more information as to whether buyers are in control, whether sellers are in control. And, and with this at the moment, I see sellers in control here at the moment. We've had one close below the VWAP in half an hour on the 5-minute time frame at the moment. So for me, it's the VWAP sloping lower here. I would very much be happy to look for shorts here today going into this. I'm very aware of the previous session low above us. I'm very aware as well that Meta's up 2%, Google and Amazon are up 1.5%. But NVDA is down 1.2% as well. And NVIDIA makes a big part of the NQ. So I'm just keeping an eye on things the most. Not the cleanest sort of picture for me compared to yesterday. Like yesterday was just beautifully clean in terms of the bullish sort of direction. But at the moment, just for me, I'm trying to, on these sort of days, front run less. Like I will try and, I won't front run by maybe 10 minutes or so. I will wait for more information here with this.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you when you usually enter.
Yeah, I mean, if it's clear, like yesterday, I'll enter 10:20, 10:25, something like that. But with it being like it is today, with the outside day stat above still in play, with the Mag 7 stocks being a little bit mixed, I'll wait for the full information. I'll wait for the full picture here, but we'll see. Do you trade IB breakouts, or are you still trading IB retracements into the IB?
I I really only do any sort of setup into the break of the IB, whether it's I get in before, retrace before the break, whatever. I mean, you can combine a whole lot of strategies. If you like fair value gaps, you can find fair value gaps to enter on into the IB or whatever. It really doesn't matter. Just get into something on the right side.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it. So
for sure. Look at this here. Look at this. VWAP literally changed my life. I was trading ICT, but didn't suit me well. I switched to VWAP a while ago and got my first payout within a month of using it, and it's still consistently paying. That is literally my story. This guy has copied my story. It's like literally exactly the same. Like to be fair, he's beaten me on the payout front though. After switching to VWAP, I didn't get a payout after what was it, within a month. That's amazing. But you know what though? It's one of those as well where I don't want to poo-poo on ICT either, because there's too many traders out there who are trading simplified versions of ICT, but are taking consistent payouts and really big payouts. And actually, some of the biggest prop firm traders out there have got the biggest payouts are ICT traders, aren't they?
It's ICT is good. It just depends on your personality. I like it sometimes, and sometimes I hate it because it's like so overly complex that it just it's too much, really like Dan says a lot, you really just need VWAP on your chart. Maybe you look at edgeful for some data and then go with the trend. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, for sure. It's oh look. Have you seen this comment? I have to get this up. Somehow Joey looks like whiter and younger Mr. Zink.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, take that as a compliment, mate.
I guess I will, but
oh, you know what though? Talking of younger and age, the lads on the I was on with Zink and James. Was it last Tuesday or the Tuesday before? They made me feel proper old. Like I didn't realize just how young them two are compared to me.
And James?
Zink and James, yeah. Like how old are you if you don't mind?
23.
Shut up.
Yep.
Jeez. My God, you're absolute baby compared to me. I was saying before last week on stream, like I live in Abu Dhabi and everybody in Abu Dhabi is like 35, 40, 45, got kids, families come here, right? Dubai, you go there as a 23-year-old, you go and party it up. Abu Dhabi, is where you come and you settle down and stuff and everything. So I feel really young in the city. And then coming on stream with you guys, geez, I feel...
How old Zink? Zink's old. Like, what, 25?
Yeah, 20, like 25, 26. I think James is 26, 27, something like that. So, yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Dan reaching Unk status. No, not yet. Not yet. I'm not there just yet. I'm getting there. Which VWAP indicator do you use, Dan? Is it just a session VWAP? Yeah, so this indicator, if I just show you the edgeful indicator to begin with, it's the VWAP suite. And when you go on to the settings here, if it'll load for me, this is where my internet's a little bit slow. That may load in a second, but basically it's the session VWAP. It's just anchored to the New York Open. And if you guys don't want to use the edgeful here we go, here it is. So these are my settings for it. So I use the open high, low close 4 setting, and then I've got the New York Open source on as well. I do keep an eye on the daily as well. What I'll do is I'll just flick it on there and have a look at the daily view up just to see where we are there. That green one is anchored to the futures session open, which is 6 p.m. EST. But I only just flick that on for a second and then take it off because I don't like it too much. But even if you guys don't want to use the edgeful indicator, it's very easy to put a session view up on. You can literally just go on your trading view indicators, click the view up button, and then just click it on the candle you want to anchor it to. So it's super, super easy there. Super
Someone
easy.
in the chat asked, how much data do I have on the IB25. So for Dan's 25% retracement strat, I have pretty much 2.5 years of data. 2026, probably best performing so far. 2025, very good up until like October. And then when the market got choppy, you can see the strategy also got a little choppy. And then I also pretty much have all of 2024 or most. 2024, pretty flat, honestly, the first 3 or 4 months. And then it was a really nice up streak for 6 months, pretty much just not too many losses. And then kind of flat and sideways again. So,
yeah.
But again, the thing is, with any in terms of copy trading, if you're risking, like 2024 was the worst year for my back test. I was doing $500 of risk per trade, and it's still up $15,000 by November. And that'd be on a single account. So if you're doing $200 of risk, divide that in half, but you're copy trading it across, if Dan's got what, 23, 25 accounts. So you'd be up $7,000 per account over the year. That's a lot of payout money,
Yeah.
So
yeah. And that's where for me, I mean, for a start, I would not recommend anybody copy trade the amount of accounts I'm trading unless you are taking consistent payouts. I think that's really, really important to say. Like you'll usually see the majority of traders, once they've taken a payout, then start to use that payout money to buy some more accounts. And then once they've got like more accounts, you'll see most traders actually they copy trade pools of accounts. So like Zinc, for example, like he trades his Trader Fair account separately, his Top One Futures account separately, his My Funded Futures account separately. He'll trade them in groups, sort of thing. So the way I do it, copy trading them all, is it's not usual, but I'm playing the numbers game in my head. It's kind of for me, I can't tilt.
Yeah,
I cannot tilt.
But it makes sense. There is no room. It makes sense because you only take one trade a day. Sometimes one trade a week. So you can't separate all those accounts. Zinc's, although he still does a lot of IB, he's still taking sometimes 3-4 trades in a day in different sessions or whatnot. So he can do that, just depends on your strategy a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And so this one here, hi, Dan, been trading the IB. Would you say it's better to wait for full hour to close when starting out? I don't know what's better. I mean, it's one of those where you've got to do what Joey's done, and you've got to put the hours, I think, into back testing, first of all, especially for like an IB system like this, because it's quite mechanical. You can back test it. Like, strategies that are very discretionary, it's really difficult to backtest those. But if it's very mechanical, you can backtest it. And when you backtest it, you're going to begin to see patterns where maybe 5 minutes before the IB sets is a good time to think about front running it, or maybe your back testing results show that maybe you do need to wait for the first hour, wait for 10:30 a.m. and then start looking for tracements inside the IB. So I would say, you've got to go and put the time in yourself and back test it, because it's one of those where the way I do it, the way Joey does it, they're not necessarily the best ways. You can see Zinc trades differently to the way I do. Joey trades differently to the way I do. There's a reason why profitable traders trade slightly differently to each other, because they've got their own way of doing it. There's no right way, wrong way of doing it. It's just a case of what feels right to you. Like for some traders, front running the IB is like, no, I could never do that because I want to wait for the IB to set. And that's fine as well. You've got to do what's right by you. And the only way you're going to do that is by, of course, coming on streams like this, watching traders talk out loud, trade out loud, but then also as well, back testing yourself, putting that time in to be able to, check it out for yourself as well. So that would be my advice anyway, going with that.
Well, we did just go down and take out those lows that I was telling everyone I guess 15 minutes ago. The 29,330 low from last week. I would have preferred for an IB25 setup to wait to take that out, probably.
Yeah.
But there's still a few more lows below. So, I mean, if it wants to go down, there's still a few more nice targets.
Let me just get you on screen so you can show that. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we had this gap marked out about 15 minutes ago. We got a break below the gap right here, and then got sent on down to that low right there. We still have a few more lows here from, this is all the way from, end of June. We have a few lows here. So, but again, it would have been better probably to wait if the market would have waited, because this IB25 is looking pretty good. VWAP sloping down pretty good. I mean, we've closed under the VWAP the whole session, pretty much. A lot of the big stocks are down. The ones that are green aren't that green, which is also good for bears. But could also look at taking on ES as well.
So are you looking for?
ES, but...
No. Well, to be fair, my winning trade on Thursday was actually ES.
Gotcha.
Interestingly enough, so I'll sometimes sort of go between the two. I'd say 99% of my trades are NQ, but sometimes I'll trade ES because I think on that day, on that Thursday, the NQ had already broken its IB low, but ES hadn't. So I played an IB75 entry on that day.
Gotcha.
But yeah. What level then? What are you looking for then to get short then here? What level are you looking for short? Are you going to wait for more information? What time are you looking to enter, and so on?
So when I was doing my IB25 testing, I would usually wait till about 10:20, 10:21 to enter. So I would usually, anytime 10 minutes before the close, I would enter if the setup was there.
Okay.
So basically in a couple minutes, if we still have this sloping VWAP down or under VWAP, I would probably be looking for something like this, 1-to-1. Dan would probably be looking for something like this. And I'm not holding it to like IB low. Like I'm not waiting for the IB to form and then take the low. So I'm just, if it taps your entry and then you hit target at 10:23, that's the win there. But I would like to wait a little bit just because we did just sweep a 4-hour low. And we can bounce fairly easily from here. But
okay, it's interesting how you use time-based liquidities as sort of a pull. But you said already you will hold to a time-based liquidity, or you out at IB low?
It just depends. Okay. I tested IB, the same IB25 that we do or whatever, but holding for like a 1.5 R. So I do 1-to-1. So like, this would be the 1-to-1. And I think it was, if you add the 0.3. So like a 0.3 level extension would be pretty much right here.
Okay.
And on edgeful, you can look at how far, what's the percentage we go down past the IB, And the percentages are pretty good, but I noticed it doesn't work very well. Just shooting for this little bit extra right there, a lot of times doesn't work very well. I've built a profitable strategy where you sweep the IB low right here, and you pretty much just take a long back up like for a scalp. And that works. Like, you guys got to start back testing in the chat that don't back test, because you can pretty much make any discretionary model mechanical just by doing like a couple tweaks. So
yeah, that's what you generally tend to do, because you'll watch me or you or Zinc or James or anyone trade, and then you'll go and back test what we do, or I recommend you go and back test what we do, and then you'll find in your back testing, oh, that doesn't make sense to me, but actually if I enter here instead of here, oh, that's quite interesting, and then you'll find your own sort of version of it in the end. And having your own version of it is going to enable you to get through those drawdowns and those losses, which is really, really important. I mean, let me just steal the screen here for a second. I want to show, right, the reality of trading here, because, you know, first of all, any trader you see on social media who is trading full green days every single month, you run very, very far from them, okay? Because it's not reality. You know, it's very possible to have green months. I've had 1 or 2 green months this year so far, but most months are not going to be like that. And for June, for me, June was tricky. It doesn't look like it when you look at it on this calendar. If I just go to June, you know, it actually looks okay. And actually at the end of the month, it was okay. But I had a whole week here of, I'd love to say I was on holiday, and this week I wasn't. I was sitting at the desk every single day waiting. The IB ranges were so large. Like, it was just ridiculous. Like, I remember there was one day where 1 micro for my risk would have been $500 on a 50K account. That's the smallest amount I could do for my risk. It's just crazy. And walking away from those days, not being able to trade, actually seeing IB25 setups beautifully present and then go without me, and I couldn't enter because the IB ranges were too large. That was tough. That was tough. And then taking a win on the 15th of June, and then having basically 2 weeks in June, 2 and a bit weeks in June with not a single win. That was tough. But I came out green on the month. So it's one of those where I always say to traders, if you can't end the day green, end the week green. If you can't end the week green, end the month green, at least. If you can't end the month green, end the quarter green. And if you just zoom out, you know, it's important to zoom out. I had to, you know, dig deep during this 2 and a bit weeks to zoom out, look at the payouts I've taken in the year so far, look at, you know, everything I had done there, and you know, kind of zoom out and realize it's okay. It's not that big a deal. And if I look at the P&L curve here, look at this. So when you look at it, it's not that big of a deal. This little bit was my June. If I look at the months here. So yeah, so up here. So when there, this little bit was my June. And it's easy to look in that little bit just here and think, oh, it's all falling apart. Well, no, just relax, chill. You're having a bit of a drawdown period. That's normal. Welcome to trading. You know, you're gonna have that. You're gonna have losing streaks, and it's just a case of zooming out and just, you know, for me, I fixed up my trading here for March. This was where I took $20,000 worth of payouts at the end of February, and then I thought I owned the market, and the market told me, no, you don't, mate. And I literally just got absolutely my ass handed to me in March. And then I just kind of fixed up my game and just trying to get that more sort of smooth equity curve. And it allows me now to just cope with these drawdown periods just a little bit better, because when you zoom out, that's what helps a lot. And I recommend anyone, I know this is an edgeful stream, but go and get something like TradeZella. Go and get something where you can track your data, you see it, you know, live, because it's going to allow you to be able to zoom out, because it's very easy just to focus on that one day and take a loss and think, oh, it's all falling apart. So yeah, that's for anyone who's in a drawdown period at the moment or has been struggling in June, because June, you know, for many traders was tough. So it's one of those. We got 5 minutes until the IB sets. What are you thinking?
It looks clean. I mean, the IB25 looks clean if you get a not too of a aggressive pullback.
Yeah.
My only concern is we just swept another hourly low. So if we keep moving down the next few minutes before getting a retracement, I mean, a lot of the targets are going to be gone for me
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it won't win if you get it. It's just, it's going to be a little more sketchy. But I was going to ask you, Dan, have you ever thought about trading other times of the day? I know it's kind of tricky in Abu Dhabi, right? Because it's night over there.
Yeah, yeah. For me, because I know, and someone asked in the chat earlier actually, whether we trade London IB. For me, it's just like with my current lifestyle at the moment. I mean, Asia is 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. for me.
Yeah.
So that's miserable. And then London just doesn't fit in with my current lifestyle at the moment. For me, the New York session is like, it's perfect for me because it's the evening time for me. It's about 5 p.m. Like it's a nice time of the day for me to trade. So yeah, do you trade other time sessions?
Well, yeah, I was gonna bring this up on Edgeful. If you can pull up my screen real quick.
Yeah, sure. Let's get you up.
So for the IB, if you're just wanting to do the IB, there is other times in the New York session that have a pretty good single break. So we all look at, the New York regular 9:30 to 4 session, 81% chance of a single breakout, which is why a lot of people like the IB. But there is other times. So if you get that break, if usually the IB breaks by 11:30 most days at least. But there's other times like 1 to 2 p.m. IB. This is Eastern time. Still 67% chance of a single breakout. So if you have a morning IB, say that's the 9:30 to 10:30 IB, that breaks. You could also maybe look for a 1 to 2 p.m. initial balance that has a breakout. And there's also, I have on here 2 to 3 p.m. So 78% chance that breaks, has a single breakout or breaks in general, right? So there's other times you could look throughout the day. So I was just bringing that up to you, Dan, because a lot of times you might get, 5 to 10 trades a month, but your edge still might be there in other times. You just don't have enough trade, So if people are busy too in the mornings, you could still look in that PM session because there is other times you can customize on Edgeful to see the single breakout percentages and stuff. But you don't want to overdo it or anything. But those are still good stats there.
It's cool how Edgeful do have those different sort of IBs there. For me, and this is just for me, it's kind of I'm very wary of trading more. I thought about it. I thought about trading other sessions, other times and stuff. And it's one of those where I don't want to fall into the trap of trading too many sessions. It's not because of, it's more mental capital for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm very big on the mental capital side, and every decision you take reduces that mental capital. And for me, it's just, yeah, I'm happy with the kind of, I spend an hour and a half on the charts each day. For me, that's enough. It's enough sort of time for me to sort of stay on the desk and stuff. Whether that'll be the case for the future, I don't know. Never say never. But I do love trading this time in the evening. I do love doing other things off the desk as well, such as content creation, which I've done a lot in the past year or so. I love doing that. So it's one of those where, do I want to trade another session?
Good balance.
Don't know. Yeah, exactly.
The ES stats, someone asked, it's pretty much the same as NQ. You're looking at, 76% single break from that 2 to 3, 1 to 2 p.m. around 70%. So definitely look into that stuff. You can customize times and customize reports and stuff like that. So yeah, we are getting a little bit of a retracement. IB is pretty much done there.
Yeah.
Well, it's
the IB is huge. The IB is massive. It's 1.5% nearly. Yeah, 426 points. That's huge IB again. Like, I really thought in July we'd have normal sort of IB size. I'm interested in the chat, guys, because I just went through my June. How did you guys actually do in June? Were you green in June, flat in June, red in June? How were you guys actually fair in June? It'd be interesting to see, like, and also if kind of tell us whether you were trading the opening range breakout, maybe the 50-minute opening range. Do you trade IB? Do you trade ICT? It'd be interesting to see whether, you know, all IB traders struggled in June, or, you know, all traders did very well in June. It'd be quite interesting, that, to be fair.
Yeah, June was
horrible, rough June, catastrophic. Oh my god, we're getting the dictionary out on the Edgeful stream today. the most ambitious adjective. Come on, guys, let's hear it. Flat. June was red for me. Bad month. Tilted loads too. I trade the 5-minute orb. Okay, 7% gain. That's not bad, to be fair. Oh, we're going to get a break of the IB low here.
Someone said, Joey's confusing me more than I'm already confused with Edgeful. I mean, feel free to ask some questions and see if we can, or me or Dan can answer what's confusing you about Edgeful.
And don't get confused over Edgeful, guys, because I mean, I get it. When you first go onto Edgeful, there are so many reports and stuff, but my advice to anyone who's, you know, a bit overwhelmed with all the reports and stuff is just focus on one or two, especially reports that you see traders on stream actually trading, because then you can actually see those reports being played out live on stream and stuff. I would say 1-2 reports, focus on those, watch the YouTube videos on Edgeful that come along with those reports, use the indicators that I showed you guys before that come along with those reports. That will be a great way for you to sort of go here. Yeah.
Someone also said, Joey, out of all your back tests, which strategy is shown to be the most promising? I mean, I have too many back tests to tell you one. But again, the IB25 that Dan does, and I tested it myself, is very simple. It's like the only decision you have to make is VWAP flat? I mean, that's pretty much the gist of, like, is VWAP flat? That means it's probably a little choppy. Maybe you sit out. If VWAP's sloping down like this, unless we're too overextended, maybe you don't take that trade. But it's very easy. It's very good. If you like a good, like, 70 to 80% win rate average, the IB25 is good. So you don't need to overcomplicate things. So
yeah, I think this comment here, one of the few actually who were green on the month of June. IB trades predominantly IB50, IB25. Good. Yeah, good. I think a lot of it, for the guys who said red, I think you need to ask yourselves, you know, and I'm sure you know already, is how many of those losing days were fully 100% executed according to rules sort of losses, and which were the ones that sort of you got a bit emotional on, oversized, got in too early, broke rules, whatever. You know, those are the ones that really hurt, isn't it? Did you have any YouTube video explaining your IB25? Yeah, man, I got loads on my YouTube. Dan Cook Trades, go on my YouTube. Joey, do you have a YouTube as well?
I do have a YouTube. It's a lot of algorithm stuff, because that's my main thing is building algorithms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, guys, put it in the chat. That is literally my everything. I kept it proper simple. I took Dan Cook Trades, the username, before any other Dan Cook could get there. Many months ago. I've even got a TikTok username as well. Never posted on it, but but I've got the username. So if I ever decide to be hip and young, and have a midlife crisis, then I will go onto TikTok and I will post on there and I'll do TikTok sort of videos. June was a big FOMO month for me. Yeah. June was tough just because of the IB range. There we go again. Look at that today. We broke the IB low.
Yep.
Again.
Broke the IB low,
without
still
any
selling off.
retracement.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if we go to take out all of these swing lows right here that are kind of stacked on top of each other. So we've already taken out these two from earlier. We just took out this one. We also just took out this one. So, I mean, I would not be surprised at all if we go all the way down, like still to like 29,150. Relatively soon, honestly. It's just slow down day, staircasing lower. So
would you look for any other trade after this, or are you sort of like done for the day? How do you go about a day like this where you didn't get the retracement?
Yeah, usually I would be done. Especially anything around an initial balance breakout, I'm done. And the range is, I mean, we're pushing 500 points. So, you're going to have to be trading 1, maybe 2 micros on really any setup today as well. So it's best to probably be done at this point. So,
I mean, someone just said, let me just get this up here. Kind of missed the ES IB25 at 1020. If I just get up ES here, if you were trading ES, then I'm looking here. Let me just go back here. So 1020. Let's go back to around about here. Oops. So 1020. Let's have a look at this. Yes, look at that there. So if you were trading the IB25 and you were front running it by 10 minutes, something like this, then absolutely. Let's have a look, see how that plays out. Yep, you would have got a nice little win there if you were front running that. The only thing I would say is you just took previous session low. I would be cautious with that because usually you get some sort of reaction there when it does that. But on this occasion, but you may have missed it, but you're never going to blow an account from a missed trade, are you, mate? So it's one of those where how you react to missing that trade now could decide whether you blow a account or not. It's how you react to those moments, because it sucks, doesn't it, when you had a trade setup, it's your trade setup, you missed it for whatever reason, whether it's fear, whether you were off the desk for a second or something like that. It's how you react in that moment that is going to be really, really important for you, and whether you are the kind of person who's going to be able to get a payout. Do you know what I mean? Very, very difficult. I struggle with that. I feel my FOMO kicking in when an IB25 trade setup, I missed it for whatever reason. And then, but it's how you react, isn't it? You are always going to have those emotions, but how you react in those moments is absolutely crucial.
Yeah, I have some data on ES IB25 as well. All of 2025 I did. It's just as good as NQ, honestly. Let me see really quick. Slightly lower win rate. I have NQ myself around 72% win rate for the way I have stops at the 50%. ES was like 70, 71. So, I mean, they're pretty much the same.
Same, which it's not a big surprise.
Yeah. So, slightly less trades because sometimes, NQ it's more volatile. You'll get that pop back into the IB25 where ES is a little slower moving. So sometimes you get the trade on NQ and then ES never gets the trade. Or, NQ takes out the IB low, ES doesn't, and then ES might get the trade after NQ already took the IB low, which isn't always a great trade to take either. When one asset sweeps, it's probably not the best to take it on the other. So
no. Just on another thing with edgeful, because obviously anyone who follows me on social media, I use the algos as well. Or I have a 5-minute opening range algo. You can see here, this is where I love my algo on days like this, where I'm flat with my manual trading. I haven't taken another trade, but the algo is still running in the background. You know, whether it's a win or a loss, it just runs. You can see here for they're basically. I mean, I'm just wondering, anyone in the chat, anyone here trade edgeful algos or don't trade them yet or have been thinking about using them? But it's quite interesting because I only turned on this algo yesterday again. I turned it off in June. Like, I could not have this algo running in June because, I mean, if you look at this here, we got our stop loss here. Basically, the way it works, it's the 5-minute opening range. So it's the high and low of the first 5-minute candle. The stop loss for me and my settings is 100% of the opening range, which is 15 points, which actually for ES, that's not a abnormal range, is it? The ES range is around about 10 to 15 points. So it's not an abnormal range, which is quite interesting compared to NQ, where the range is quite large today. But anyway, and that's where the range of the 5-minute open range decides my stop loss. So you can see here, stop loss also the same size as the 15-minute opening range. And it worked well today with the market going through, and I got out around about 0.5, 0.6 R. But let me show you why I turned it off in, I think did I get a win yesterday on the, oh yeah, win yesterday as well on the algo. So it's a great start to the algo this month. But I want to show you guys, where was it? It was, because June, the ranges were huge. And yeah, I think it was Monday. So Monday, we just looked at the 5-minute opening range, and it was how much? It was 15 points on that one. On this one, Monday, the 29th of June, it's a whopping 34 points. We're talking double what we had today. So last Monday was double the 5-minute open range size compared to today's one. And because the way the algo works is, yes, it's got the stop loss according to the size of the IB, but if you guys see this red line here, that red line is actually my stop loss. It's not this second red line below. It's this red line here, because the algo settings protect me by, I've got a max loss of, I think it's like $300, $400, something like that on my algo. If I took the full loss here on 5 micros, I would have lost, well, it would have been about $800 loss on that. And that's where I don't want to lose $800. So that's where my stop loss will be here. And that stop loss then is a lot tighter compared to, you know, what I want it to be. So when the markets had those huge ranges in June, that's where my edgeful algo just wasn't quite as effective. And that's where you've got to use a bit of discretion sometimes, and, you know, maybe just switch it off, just leave it for a little bit. And then you can then take advantage of weeks like this week, where we've been a lot better, you know, the range size have been a lot more normal, and we're getting wins like this from yesterday and wins like this today. But yeah, do you trade edgeful algos, or because you're an automatic trader person?
Yeah, I've played with them a bit. I haven't really used them too much, to be honest, but I do like the optimizer. I like messing around with the optimizer a lot. So
yeah, it's so good. It is so good. Like, I could literally spend, I mean, the thing is, I could spend ages on the optimizer, but the optimizer actually doesn't need you to spend ages on it.
Yes.
It's so slick and quick and effective, to be fair. But yeah, it's shame we didn't get any trades on stream though, mate. Would it be nice to capture some IB trades here today? But we'll say, you know, we've got to stay out here, so it's one of those. Yeah. Dan, what's the maximum amount of time you would front run the MNQ IB25? For me, it's about 10 minutes. It's about 10 minutes. So yeah, and people are asking for your YouTube, Joey. Have you put it in the chat? Ah, there we are. No. There we are. There it is. So go and follow Joey Wiz. Yeah, your Wiz trades on X, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
With trades, yep.
You've had so many questions today about back testing and things like that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I back test arguably too much. I mean, I won't even argue it myself. It's if you have an idea of something, just go and back test. From my experience, if it's mechanical, you can probably, like if you wanted to back test IB25, it probably will take you 6 hours to do a year worth. Because once you start getting into the flow and you know what to look for, like the VWAP or what's chopping, and you can just skip right to 1020 and see like, okay, do I want to enter today? And then
yeah.
So it doesn't actually take as long as people think, even if you're really slow. Maybe it takes you 10 hours.
Yeah.
But then you have a whole year worth of data. So spend a weekend and then boom, you have a bunch of data. There you go.
Yeah. And I think, as I said before as well, that mechanical side is important when you're back testing a strategy. I remember a couple of years ago back testing this strategy. It was quite discretionary. And I finished back testing it for a couple of years with it. And I was so excited. It was like, oh, I have made it. And then obviously, I tried back testing it again about a month later, and I got completely different results.
Yeah.
Completely different. It was the same time, same year I was back testing, or the same couple of years I was back testing. But because it was so discretionary, I think I over fitted it, and I manipulated the data a little bit to kind of feed my ego a little bit. But yeah, Lance, what's your thought on the IB50? You can't not love it. You can't not love the IB50 because I'm a VWAP trader, just looking from a VWAP perspective. If we did get a retracement into the initial balance today, the IB50 was literally bang on VWAP. VWAP is tested quite regularly in the session, so, and it often retraces to VWAP. I am anticipating some sort of reaction or retracement back to VWAP before we potentially move lower here. But yeah, I can't deny it. I mean, Zinc has made goodness knows how many hundreds of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Oh, how much has he made? No, he's made.
He's made like
figures
in payouts this year, I think.
Yeah. Or is he like 90,000 or something? Don't get me wrong, only $90,000 in payouts. I mean, come on, guys, we got to get Zinc going
halfway
here
through the year.
Yeah, I mean, come on. What? You only made $90,000 in payouts? What's the guy doing? But no, seriously, he's made an insane amount of payouts from the IB50. But you know what, though? It's quite interesting with Zinc because he has made so much money from trading the IB50. And yet he has, over the past month or two, he has optimized it. He's evolved the way he goes about it. And anyone would be looking at thinking, why is he doing that? He's already super successful. Because Zinc he spends hours of his time looking at edgeful data, using the API, and he's just always looking for ways to improve. And that's what I'm saying to, at the beginning, yes, you can be an IB25 trader, for example, but don't get too locked in on that either. You want to constantly look to evolve. And I don't mean change strategies. I don't mean, change it massively after a losing streak. In fact, Zinc changed the way he did it from a position of strength. Like he was doing well, and yet he has optimized it where he's looking for entries around about the IB30, IB35. And then if it goes against him, he's then looking for other entries, something like this, isn't it? I think, or something like that anyway, that he's sort of doing. So it's one of those where the IB50 is great, but look what he's done with his trading since. And I think, you've got to constantly look to evolve based on the data. I have to show as well. I did a Instagram reel on the discovery page today on my Instagram. I think I posted it on, or my YouTube, one of those. But basically, this new feature here, if you click on the discovery feature on edgeful and we trade MNQ, and 6 months worth of data, and you can actually scan for the strongest sort of, reports here, and you can use this to sort of either build a strategy based on the strongest data at the time, or even optimize and evolve what you're already doing. You've got to look at the report. You can't ignore the reports that are the strongest in the market at the moment. And if 6 months isn't enough for you, you can do a year's worth as well. And you can just sort of rescan it and it'll just change it for you again. So even if you want to kind of zoom out and stuff. But for me, I've been looking, this is my internet now, that I've been trading a lot more sort of targets towards initial previous sessions, highs and lows, because the inside bars report is so strong at the moment. It's like one of the strongest reports out there on edgeful at the moment. So let me just, I tell you what, let me show one trade example. Let me see if I can find one where I think it was like May the 13th, something like that, where, let's have a look here. Yeah, so this trade here. So this one here, the IB25 didn't present on this day, but, I know the inside bars report really, really strong, gives really good data. How good is the data? Well, the what's in play on the day was saying 90%, stat we were going to go to the previous session high. So I actually took an IB75 trade here towards the previous session high. I had the IB high and the previous session high as targets above there. And that's where, it's one of those where I promote myself as the IB25 trader, which is fine. And that's where when I take a trade like this, where it's an IB75 trade, people get really, really upset. They're like, oh, so what, you're strategy hopping now? Well, you're changing it now. Oh, well, is it not working now, the IB25? No, I'm evolving. I'm just evolving what I'm doing. I'm sort of changing based on the data that's available to me from edgeful. And the data is forever changing. It is forever changing. There is no guarantee that the IB is, the IB by retracement report is going to be amazing data for forever. Although, to be fair, if you look at the data for the past 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, it is very, very good. So the probabilities are it's going to, continue to be great. But it's just a shame we've not got any retracements Monday or Tuesday this week. But yeah. Got to be patient. Still plenty of opportunities left in the week, for sure. And actually, Wednesday, if we go on to the reports for Wednesday, and I would say anyone who's looking to sort out their reports on edgeful, you can actually bookmark your favorite reports, and you can see here. I think I spent like half an hour on a Saturday morning one day just sorting all my IB by retracement reports, and I've got like the general one here which sorts it for MNQ. And then if I'm wanting to look at, say, Wednesday, for example, you can save the customized report for Wednesday as well. You can see here, I do like to use 1 year though for the day ones, just to give a little bit more of a data set. But Wednesdays, keep an eye out for that tomorrow. For the IB25 or the IB30 or the IB50, Wednesdays are good for the IB. Like even in the past year, IB high forms first, got 75% chance. IB low forms first, got 78% chance. It is one of the stronger data sets out of all of them for sure. So definitely worth keeping an eye on there. Can you believe it though, mate? We're literally 5 minutes left. So we've only got 5 minutes remaining, guys, of the stream. So if you've got any more questions left for me or Joey, fire them in now while you can, guys. Yeah. Anything the IB25, IB in general, back testing, because we've had loads of questions to Joey today about back testing. Fire them in the chat. But before we finish, Joey, is there anything final you want to say about today or in general?
Not necessarily. Just remember, you don't need to take a trade every day. Dan shows that all the time. You don't need to trade every day to make a lot of money with trading. So don't feel pressured to trade, even though it's hard, because sometimes you go a week with no trading and you're like, I could have made so much money this week. It's not really that big of a deal because there's always another week. So that's about it.
Yeah, for sure. We had a couple of questions here. So someone's saying, it's a very good question, actually, this one. If your IB isn't a setup, do you ever look for a different setup? You could do. You could, to be fair, what worked well yesterday was wait for the break outside the IB low, which we've had here, wait for a retracement, and then potentially taking another trade out there. That worked beautifully. I think it worked beautifully yesterday. If I just go here, yeah, here is that breaking retest. It worked beautifully. I mean, look at that bounce off VWAP there. I mean, that is just like a thing of beauty. Hang that up in the Louvre, because look at that, just beautiful bounce off VWAP there towards the IBI. So that, if trading, wait for a break, wait for the retracement, and then capture move up, of course, that's a potential setup. The reason why I don't trade it is purely just time for me. Like, for me, I don't want to spend longer than an hour and a half on stream. So for me, it's just I'm just not interested in waiting around. And I kind of tend to find on a lot of days, once we've had this break of the IB low, IB high, price just tends to just chop around for a lot of the sessions. So I got no interest sort of being involved in that today. This is a good question. I was super late to the stream, so maybe this is, but how do you filter when to stay out? Is it just the VWAP or other edgeful reports? I mean, Joey may have a different answer to that, but for me, it's just, let me see if I can find a specific example. Let me have a look at my trades out of data first. Let me see if there was a day where I did sit out. So, like, for example, today is the perfect example of a day where I would sit out, where we broke the IB low. We didn't get retracement back to any of the retracement levels inside the IB. So for me, that's a day for me to stay out. As well, what I would stay out of as well is if price did something like this, where VWAP is literally just flat and we're closing above, closing below, closing above, closing below the VWAP for like most of the session, I would probably just walk away for the day. Like, honestly, I think for me, that's just a case of, there's no clear direction. There's neither buyers nor sellers in control. So, the VWAP doing something like this. If the VWAP's doing that, and we got candles here, candles here, candles here, like that, basically. That's where I would stay out of that, because then, in my opinion, I'm just gambling. Because, we're just closing both sides of the VWAP. What would you say, Joey, to that? When do you decide to stay out?
To me, it's just looking at VWAP. With regards to the IB25 strategy, it's just, again, like Dan said, if VWAP's flat, don't trade. Or I mentioned earlier, if like today we moved down 500 points, but if those 500 points were really only the first 30 minutes, a lot of times that's another time to just stay out, because then if you move down too hard, too fast, you can retrace, and then it's not worth taking the retracement setup. So
yeah, that's quite interesting. I think that's the same for me as well, where if the market dumps and we move lower very, very aggressively, and the VWAP is above the IB50 for shorts or below the IB50 for longs, I'll look to stay out, because the VWAP is so far away. So I think you and me think very similar there with that as well. Got a question for you here, Joey.
Which IB do you have most stats on? Globex Asian? So I mean, I have. If you're talking about backtesting stats, I haven't backtested like Asia, London too much. I did backtest Globex. I think Globex is pretty good, but a lot of times the range is just too small. Like, it just doesn't move much, has no volume, and it doesn't end up being that clean, so it's hard to trade. But I mentioned earlier in the live stream, like, there's PM session of New York has good IB stats as well. If you're looking to trade, not morning session, like today we didn't have a trade in the morning. So if you're still at your computer in 4 hours, maybe you do look for that 2 to 3 p.m. IB, and maybe that sets up so you still get a high quality trade today, since we didn't have one this morning. But
Yeah. Someone's asked, is there any stats on FOMC? Yes, there is. I just pulled it up here. So there is a report FOMC performance, and then you can even do it based on standard, average results, individual days as well. So plenty of stats on FOMC for you to dive into as well. And I think, mate, that is 11 a.m. New York time, 7 p.m. for me now. So, as the old man I am, getting close to my bedtime by now.
Yeah, almost bedtime.
Yeah, indeed. But Joey, thank you so much for joining us today, mate. Really, really appreciate it. Can we have some W's in the chat for Joey, please? Sharing so much on back testing, on the IB as well. I think especially for newbie traders trying to find their strategy, their edge, back testing is such a big part of it, isn't it? I wish I had more traders on social media who I could follow who were sharing loads on back testing when I was getting into it, because I couldn't find anybody. There's very little people talking about it. I mean, to be fair, now these days, the back testing software you've got now, whether it's TradeZello, whether it's FX Replay, it's so good now, isn't it, compared to what it used to be, even just a few years back. But appreciate having you on, Joey. And for the rest of you, edgeful stream will be back on tomorrow as normal with Andre and James. And until next Tuesday for me, I'll see you then, guys. Have a great rest of the day.
Have a good one, guys.